Hello everybody and welcome to round 9 of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge in season 14 as we take on our final rounds towards the end of the season. It's very much the North American leg of our season now after Christmas. A couple of weeks ago we were at Road America I should say. Road Atlanta is to come later on at the end of the season, but it's time now for the Canadian round of this championship, one of two, because we'll be at Mosport at the end of March. But for now, it's the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal we'll be taking on. Myself, Ewan and Gilles Parfitt taking you through the action tonight. Qualifying about to come to a close, but an interesting circuit to go sports car racing on and multi-class racing as well, because in places this circuit is very narrow indeed.
Yes, it definitely is. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how they handle this traffic. That's going to be a big part. And where are they going to catch the traffic? Well, there's a couple of places that they really don't want to try and catch the traffic. That's through some of the chicanes. They would not want to be looking at 3 and 4 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 8, 6 and 7 or 8 and 9, to be honest. It's a bit hairy. I'm hoping this goes clean, Mr. O'Leary, but I'm not entirely sure if it's going to.
Well, let's see, shall we? Checkered flag has just been waved over qualifying, and it's Pat Pelchat who's taken the pole position. We'll go through the grid a little bit later on, because there is, as always, a relatively long gridding process that goes on in this series. I'm not entirely, sure, obviously, what's going to happen later on in terms of the start, but Pat Pelchat has certainly got off to a decent start here with his qualifying lap, that's for sure. He is here at Montreal. I can imagine it might well be quite important. He's actually still out there at the moment. I'm not sure whether he's finished his laps or not, or whether he's because the checkered flag's out, but he's still going. Oh no, he won't be allowed to finish it. He's just going around anyway. And now that will be the end of the session by the looks of things, as he now returns back to the pit lane and we get on to the grid. While that's all going on, it's got very gloomy. Let's have a look at the championship standings heading into this round. And it is Pat Pelchat who's leading the way by quite some distance in GTP. All of the drivers effectively missing a round so far, and so dropping no points. This is effectively the overall standings to a total points. Nathan Dowd is 27 points behind, with Adolfo Perez in third. Dominic Dunneberg just a couple of points ahead of Billy Smith for fourth place. Ryan Moszleski's just outside the top 5 with Paul Darling, Maximilian Muir, Trevor Vorosky, and then Vance Bell rounding out the top 10. Then Sheldon Rosenbaum and Paul Gibson with Robert Cast, now a GTP driver. He is 13th after leaving LMP2. In LMP2, it is now Carter Cunningham who's leading the way by quite some distance. Cast is still there, but he's 39 points behind, and he is going to, this is overall, and he's going to be, not scoring any more points. Robert Tinsley's trying to catch Cunningham. It's not out of the question either, as he tries to gain some momentum late on. Caden Richardson and Andrew Parker round out the top 5, ahead of Mo Islam, who I think has just taken pole in this session. He certainly has, ahead of then Leif Peterson, who's 7th, then Kevin Bickley, Brandon Walker, Fuzzy Facilla rounding out the top 10. There you can see the rest on your screen there. They've not been at many rounds so far this season. In GTD, Ross Poove had his worst race of the season so far 2 weeks ago, as far as finishing result goes anyway. 6th place at Road America, but he's still leading Nicholas Davis by a handsome margin. It's Bradley Haley who's just 1 point ahead of Young Park and Alex Simonik, who are tied on points for 4th place. Then Chris Pies, who is just outside that top 5, and the rest of them haven't been at too many of the rounds so far this season. And then finally, our closest to the championship, and perhaps most interesting as well, Joshua Wolf just leading by 7 points out of Eisenring. Although if you add the second drop round in, which this points system doesn't do just yet because we're still early on in the season, the gap would only be 2 points between the two in favour of Wolf. Pocket Time is in 3rd place ahead of Dale Green and Mark Kudrowski. Then you've got Morgan Smith, who's just outside the top 5, 1 point ahead of Chris Sherburn, who's 1 point ahead of Austin Diltz. Then it's Miguel de Souza and Tom Hammond rounding out the top 10. You can see the rest on the bottom of your screen there. The biggest class in the field, GTD AM. In the teams, Composite Performance Platinum are leading by 4.6 points ahead of Sector 5 Racing, then Composite Performance Titanium, another at 1.4 behind. So those are the three teams who are really competing. The rest of them are a long way back comparatively now. This is the starting grid with Pat Pelchat on the front ahead of Nathan Dowd. It's Trevor Vavrosky and Robert Cast on the second row ahead of Brandon Walker and Dominic Durnenberg. Shedden Rosenbaum didn't set a time and Mike will start 7th. Morrison gets the pole in LMP2 ahead of Caden Richardson with Kevin Binkley rounding out the overall top 10. Robert Tinsley and Carter Kundinger are 4th and 5th. The two main championship rivals, you could argue, at this stage in the season. Ahead of Derek Seifert, Andrew Parker and Wesley Bryce. It's Ross Boove who's taken pole in GTD ahead of Nicholas Davis. Young Park is 3rd ahead of Bradley Haley, Dominic Zioli and Alex Simonik, who won at Road America. Antoine Dachas has won the pole in GTD Am at Eisenring. Might well be making up some points today. He's 2nd ahead of Miguel de Souza in 24th overall. Then it's Tom Hammond, Joshua Wolf 26th as he looks to try not to lose ground effectively on Ed Eisenring. He starts a couple of positions behind him. Mark Kodrowski and Chris Serban on the row behind that. Then Shane Hunter and Dale Green bring up the rear. Chris Pies may well start the race, but if he does, he will be doing so from the back, and that is a long way away from the rest of his class rivals. In fact, he is on the grid right now, and looks like he will be getting underway from the back of the field. Are looking interesting. I think GTD Am, though, is by far the most interesting. And Ed Eisenring here, by qualifying in 2nd place, has given himself a very good chance of taking some points today.
Yeah, he definitely has. He's got to keep it on track, hasn't he? I think that's the thing for Ed. He's got to be aware of what he's fighting and in and around him. He doesn't really need to be pushing as hard as what we think he will be. But at the end of the day, it's just all about point scoring. They've got to score points here to make sure that they're in that championship fight, and especially in the GTD AMs as well, you know. And it's very, very close, isn't it? There's 7 points between him and Josh Wolf, and well, Josh is not going to be here, so his next drop score will probably be a 0 anyway. So Ed could do with a big point score to kind of overturn that.
A few changes, by the way, as I'm sure you've noticed in the grid and the rundown so far, in terms of who's driving where. Sheldon Rosenbaum has moved from GTD Am, and Robert Cast has moved from LMP2. They're both now in GTP, and they're both in this race. 4th for Cast on the start. Sheldon Rosenbaum 7th, but I'm not entirely sure he's going to get going. He's not yet on the grid as we begin to pull away, so he might well not start. And Composite Performance have had lots of changes. Ryan Wasilewski is now out of the team. Cast has been moved from Wasilewski's former team to Carbon. He's been moved to Wasilewski's former team from Carbon, I should say, and Caden Richardson put in his place instead. So it's all changed there in the team's championship as they try and work out how best to win this one at Composite Performance. But at the moment, they can't get a win in GTP. It's going to be Pat Pelchat who's going to start this race from the front and aim to take yet another win this season.
Yeah, he is as well. Weather forecast 0% chance of rain. Apparently, it's going to stay dry and overcast. 22 degrees track temperature. So we'll see on that one. Looks like we're not getting any rain whatsoever. But as we know, that may change.
Yeah, I believe that when I see it. Given the conditions overhead at the moment, it's very, very gloomy. Maybe I'm only just comparing it to qualifying, which was pretty bright actually. But this weather condition looks very threatening indeed. We will see if we get through another race without rain, although we've had our fair share this season. Out of the final corner for Pat Pelchat, the 6 GTPs at the front of the field making their way towards the start-finish line for the first time. Pelchat in control of the field, and he uses about half the front straight to fool his competitors and then goes in towards turn number 1. He's going to have a couple of car laps as well over Nathan Dowd, then Vavrosky looking through the middle really as Cass tries to go around his outside, then Walker, then Durnenberg in a clean start for the GTPs. Oh, Robert Tinsley's off the road and spun. He's gone round. A possible big moment in the championship in LMP2. Carter Cunningham got off well, and he's into 4th place here as he passes a couple of those who went off on the opening couple of corners there. Here, meanwhile, are the GT3s, led by Ross Boove, as they so often are, in towards turn number 1. Meanwhile, Ed Eisenring challenging for the first position in towards the first corners. He's not quite going to get it. He's going to go wide, and Miguel de Souza is going to be down the inside of him. They're still side by side. Joshua Wolf, his main championship rival, right in behind as well. Ed Eisenring gets round the outside. He just about hangs on to second place.
Yeah, it got a little bit manic at the beginning. Pat Palshat's opened up 1.57 seconds over Nathan Dowd, while Robert Cass has got Vavrosky, Walker and Dorenberg tucked in behind it. It's like a composite party at the moment in GTPs there, as there's quite a few of them. Mo Islam is leading the LMP2s. He's got Caden Richardson tucked in right behind him, and also Kevin Binkley there on that one. Ross Booth got away in the GTDs. He's out in front for that with Nicholas Davis and Young Park. And Antoine Decache is ahead of Ed Eisering by about 1.4 seconds. He's got Miguel de Sosa and Josh Wolf tucked in behind him. So that's running through the tops four of each class at the moment. But Palshat did what he had to do here. Look how much gap he's got, 2.1 seconds over Nathan Dowd. He's absolutely flying.
He certainly is, as he so often has been throughout this season. Won again at Road America, Mugello as well. Missed the round at Mid-Ohio, so that's effectively brought his winning streak to an end. He was going for the hat-trick at Mid-Ohio, but didn't get there. Can he finally get that hat-trick here tonight at Montreal? It is looking like it for the moment, but we are still very early on. There at the top of your screen, you can see the amount of drivers in each class, and this class was quite busy down towards turn number one. Robert Tinsey in towards the corner, hits the back of it's an individual error, really, isn't it? There, he just hits the back of the driver in front of him, goes for a spin, and that's pretty important. If he wanted to chase down Carter Cunningham in the championship, he needed to start gaining some of those 30-point deficit back again. And unfortunately, that wasn't the best way to start. No,
it definitely wasn't. And I think that's one of the problems, isn't it? He needs to now gather his thoughts and get back on it for Robert Tinsey. He's about, what's he at the moment? Probably about 7 or 8 seconds back from the leader of LMP2, so he needs to fight and try and get his way forward on that. And we've lost Sheldon Rosenbaum, but I don't think Sheldon actually took the start, to be blatantly honest with you. Mo Islam leading the LMP2s here currently, but he has got a queue tucked in behind him with Caden Richardson and Kevin Binkley now swapping positions.
Yep, he didn't start the race, by the way, just to clarify, Sheldon Rosenbaum. So unfortunately only 6 getting underway in GTP. Look at this in LMP2, though. This is very, very close indeed. Mo Islam's not been able to get away just yet, but if this battle for second really starts to rear its head, then he certainly could do, as Carter Cunningham tries to make up those positions all over again. I've got to admit, I was very surprised to read that Robert Cass decided to step away from LMP2 and go to GTP. I'm sure he'll be quick in the top class, but he was in a championship winning position, and if you were to take into account the second drop week, because he missed 2 rounds effectively, Cass would still be in the championship lead ahead of Carter Cunningham, and he had great speed in this car as well. So I must admit, I found it a very puzzling decision, but I'm sure he's got his reasons.
Yeah, I'm sure he has. And, you know, it's like anything, isn't it? Sheldon Rosenberg moving from GTD AM right into GTP. That's a big old jump there. You're going from, you know, a not low downforce car, but you're jumping into something that's got maximum downforce car. So there's been a couple of changes, and you know, for us, we're sitting here going, why? We don't know why Robert decided to give up a championship winning position to go and jump into a GTP, but he's sitting in 3rd at the moment, doing a great job currently as well for Composite Performance Platinum.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to chat to him at some point and find out a little bit more about that, because it puzzled me, that's for sure. Through the chicane he goes. He's under a bit of pressure at the moment. You've got the only Porsche in the field as he makes his way now down towards turn number 8 and 9. This is quite a tight chicane, really, as they bobble over the curves and then try and get as close to the outside wall as possible without grazing it. It's the outside, excuse me, it's the hairpin coming up next. And there's a slightly strange line, actually, from Cast. I'm not sure it's quite going to work out for him. Let's see as Vavrosky makes... Actually, there's all sorts going on down in GTD, and by the way, all sorts going on. Miguel de Souza seemed to be the first one off as far as the timing screen said, but no. Ed Eisenring was hit in the rear by de Souza. And then it's into Joshua Wolf as well. Oh, my goodness. The 2 championship rivals both taken well, not taken out, but certainly damaged heavily. And there's Joshua Wolf who's extremely damaged there after contacts. My goodness, Miguel de Sousa with a big miscalculation there.
Yeah, and he's taken out both championship leaders. Literally taken out both championship leaders. And that's the problem. You've got Josh Wolf who's had to jump straight back to pit lane. So, I can guarantee Miguel de Sousa is not going to be a very popular young man after this one. Pat Pelchat starting to weave his way through the GT3s, as you can see there, and is currently working his way to the front of the GT3 AMS, which is now led by Antoine de Cache in the Porsche without any problems, because he's got 7 seconds over Kedrowski, who's just gone a lap down.
I must admit, by the way, I've just had a look through the GTD AM previous results, trying to work out what that means for drop weeks and things. This is going to be a drop week, I would suspect, for Joshua Wolf, because his previous second worst score was 6th place. So if he finishes lower than 6th place, this will become a drop week. You never want to be relying on those, of course, but at the moment it's looking like he might well have to. Miguel de Sousa's down on pit lane as well. Ed Eisenring's down in 7th himself. That's not particularly great news for him. His worst result so far is 11th, but his second worst is his worst is a non-score because he wasn't here at Mugello, but his second worst is 11th. So effectively, since there's only 9 in the field, Ed Eisenring is going to have every single point count here today, and that could mean that he actually loses ground in the championship, depending on what else happens. There he is. He's got a big old dent in the rear end, and he's a long way off the rest of the field.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all. I cannot see Miguel de Sousa being very, very popular after that one. I don't know about you, Mr. O'Leary, but I feel that he could be probably one of the most unpopular people, and I don't think he's going to be on Josh Wolf or Ed Eisenring's Christmas card list for this year. Coming up, of course, because that was a big hit, and to take out both leaders in the championship in GTD AM as well, well, not good at all. So, but a couple of battles still taking place in the GTPs. We've got Vavrovsky, who's gone past Robert Cass, but he's now got Brandon Walker tucked in behind him.
This is the part of the traffic now in the GTP class, coming through on all the GT3 machinery. Oh, as they all stack up out the corner. Oh, big crash! Big accident for Walker, who's been in the wall down there. Side by side, meanwhile, between Vavrovsky and Cass. That's going to get single file again. But Brandon Walker got into the wall there. I thought he was in traffic. Actually, he did it on his own. That could have happened at any time. He bounced over the curb. He got his rear end into the wall of champions. And it looks like he's going to continue. But he's mightily got away with one there. As the battle we saw it towards turn 1 seemingly reached a very good ending, I'm afraid, for Durnenberg. There's the crash we were seeing. Excuse me, not Durnenberg. I'm talking about Trevor Vavrovsky, of course. In towards turn 1. It wasn't actually a battle then in that case. He just went deep on his own. Oh, he went deep and he just about avoided the barrier. And it was Dominic Durnenberg, who I was thinking about there, who got through and benefited from it. So he's up to 4th place. That's a couple of positions gained so far for the driver of the only Ferrari in this race, GTP-wise anyway. But a mistake from Vavrovsky, who has now dropped down to 5th place and has got some work to do again to catch up. Yeah,
he definitely has. The problem is apart that spin with Vavrovsky was self-induced. The incident with Wolf and Eisenring was obviously caused by Miguel de Sousa completely missing his braking point. They've got to kind of settle down a bit here, because we're getting a very spread out GTP field. You can see the gap on the left-hand side. From Pelchat to Dow's nearly 4 seconds. From Dow to Cast is nearly 7 seconds. Cast to Dorenberg's 2. 3.5 for Vavrovsky, 4 for Walker. So the gaps are starting to appear in the GTPs already. Different story in the LMP2s. Kevin Binkley is tucked in behind Islam at the moment, as these guys are siphoning their way through traffic, and these are literally barely a second apart at the moment. But you could just see that wall of champions, that sausage curb, did not go well.
He's not got a very good run at the final corner, and Binkley's got a chance here in towards turn 1, side by side. He breaks later in towards turn 1 as well, given the inside at 2. But will the traffic just get in the way here? He's just slowed down slightly on the inside, but it's a very wide. Boris up very wide there, and he's going to lose the lead. Kevin Binkley gets to the front, and he'll just slip through on the traffic as well. Oh, that wasn't very good lap traffic management there from Carter Cunningham, I'm afraid. And that's Caden Richardson who goes straight through. But Kevin Binkley gets into the lead. A couple of big changes here in LMP2 as they embark on GT3 traffic for the first time.
Yeah, Binkley cleared Islam, Richardson cleared Cunningham, and it was all because there was a GT3 tucked in behind, and I think that was Chris Sherborne in the Acura. So unfortunately for Chris, he kind of got swamped, but a little bit at the wrong time. He had a load of LMP2s coming through on him, and they all, well, it didn't go quite possibly to Islam or Cunningham's way of planning, to be blatantly honest. It just seemed that the people who got alongside, who put poor old Chris Sherborne against the wall, blocked in the other 2 LMP2s, so they had nowhere to go. So yeah, very, very tough for the 2 that's lost places, but I'm sure they'll start coming through. LMP2 really kind of provided the action. Everything else is a little bit more spread out. Young Park, Alex Simonek in the GTD Pros are quite close together, but they're not quite as close as these LMP2s are.
Quite close in towards turn 1. So they tried to slip down the inside of one of the Mustangs. Oh, hello. I think that was just the camera angle. It might not have been as close as it looked, but it may have been. That was the LMP2 leaders trying to get through on some of the GTDs. And here they go. Binkley slowed up again. Here goes Morris Lamb. You've got to be careful of that wall on the outside. Even in a Formula 1 car, if you're just slightly offline through there, you can find yourself very wide and into the wall if you're not too careful. Binkley hangs on to the lead. Still a long way to go as far as traffic goes, by the way. Still nearly 10 of these slower cars to overtake.
Yeah. That's getting very, very close indeed. Very, very close indeed from these guys. I'm quite surprised that they're getting as close as they actually are at the moment. You can see Islam going up the inside. That Oh. How much closer do we need to be?
Yeah, that was very close through the hairpin, but you could see why. Cunningham now right behind and looking for a way through maybe into the final chicane. Might be difficult to manage that. No, he's not going to, so it will be staying in behind for Carter Cunningham. Does he get a good enough run maybe? Because turn 1 I find is a better chance at overtaking, and Islam and Cunningham have got decent runs, but they're not quite close enough on this occasion, so the positions will just about stay the same. And again, another lap of pretty relentless traffic yet to come.
Yep, they're still going through them. You can see they're not even at the head of the GTD Pro field.
Oh dear.
Man, that Mustang got collared. Caught in a really bad spot. Islam there. Cunningham's on the inside of Richardson. Currently at the moment as we're battling away, and Cunningham did get through on Richardson, but that poor old Mustang, this is the problem. They're catching these cars in really, really horrible positions on the racetrack. You see Parker and Tinsey have also just swapped places. It looks like Brandon Walker's had another moment on his own, but Parker, Tinsey and Wesley Bryce, and it's all in this mix here as well, so it's getting very, very close here. Brandon Walker, whatever he did, he jumped straight back to pit lane.
He's already made a mistake through this chicane.
Done it again
before, and it's that one again, and this time he makes a bit heavier contact with the wall, and he either gave up afterwards or had damage, maybe both, but it's I'm afraid the same corner again that's caught him out. Now Binkley has got a pretty big lead in LMP2. Got to say, the way the Mustang pulled over to the left-hand side there, or the right-hand side of the road, in towards turn 3 wasn't particularly ideal, especially for everybody whose name wasn't Kevin Binkley. Actually, contact! Cunningham goes around, and now both championship contenders in LMP2 have gone for a spin in one race. In fact, in just quarter of an hour. What an extraordinary start to this race for the LMP2 class as Cunningham gets back going again. He's now just been thrown into a battle for 4th place pretty much immediately.
Yeah, no rest for him. He's got Cyphers, Parker and Tinsey all coming at him as well. Cunningham's got to get his head down now and try and open up that gap again. We'll have a look back at that in a brief moment. I just wanted to see whether or not he was going to survive that onslaught from Cyphers and Parker's behind, and it looks like currently he has. But that was a little bit of a miscommunication here between these guys in LMP2, between Caden Richardson, who went up the It's really weird, because if I was watching NASCAR, I'd sit here and say he literally ran him over.
Oh yeah, he did really.
Yeah. He literally ran him over, which was very, very bizarre indeed. It didn't even look like there was a brake effort in there.
No, it was pretty weird, but there you go. He's down the order now. He's Cunningham, and all of a sudden the championship contenders are back together again. Although Tinsey hasn't been able to really take advantage of it so far, as one of the GTPs comes past here. That must be Pat Pelchat, I suppose.
It is, yeah.
So, the GTPs have made very good speed over the LMP2s. Sometimes they don't even get through the LMP2, all of the LMP2s by the end of the race. But even inside 20 minutes here, he's making good progress at passing them, although there's a long way to go to the top 3, to be fair, given that all of these guys have had issues of some form or another. And Dowd is still trying to chase Pelchat. Just for now, squeezes himself around the outside. Just less than 4 seconds the margin, so he stopped him from getting too far away, Pelchat, but either way, he is in control of this race.
Yeah, and he's absolutely flying. I think Dowd really, again, this is so hard here because they are not catching these traffic in really nice spots. They are catching them in every chicane over every lap. Young Park and Simonek. Oh, dearie me, what actually have you guys done?
This is in towards the hairpin, and Young Park's going to brake too late and smack straight into the McLaren. So that was a bit of an error, and he's probably going to get a penalty for that post-race, I would have thought, because that was pretty obvious, pretty slam dunk, as Richardson and Morris have gone side by side. Looks like Richardson has actually got through into second. Yes, he has. So he's pushed his teammate out of the way, and indeed off the side of the circuit, and now he's up to second place as well.
I don't know. I think we're supposed to be impartial up here in the booth, Mr. O'Leary. Someone else said he pushed him over out of the way, but he did literally just run him over, unfortunately. And there was no incidents. Oh, Robert Cass. Oh, dear me. Why do I feel that we're going to have a deja vu here? Bump, in the wall, round he goes. Brandon Walker.
So, oh no. Well, let's hope that didn't do any damage, but it was only a light tap on the wall, I suppose. Loses a couple of places and is down to 5th place now. Walker's back in the race, by the way, which I wasn't quite expecting, but after towing and repairing, he is back in 6th place, so he'll just run around and pick up points, I suspect, as he's actually put himself almost back in the train where he was before, just a couple of laps down. But he'll be just running around to the end now, hoping that maybe he can pick up some places if there's mistakes up ahead from some others down in towards the chicane. Now Green here looking for a way past Hammond in the Acura. Very nice to see the Acura in the series, by the way. Some mid-season car changes have gone on, I'm sure you've noticed, in the last few weeks, but the Acura now represented Hammond and Sherburn as well in GTD AM, both running the new GT3.
Yeah, they are. It does look very nice. It does look very Audi-esque, doesn't it? The makeup, the way it is, the body shape is very Audi-esque on that one. I was so looking forward to seeing the Ferrari GTP run in here, and Dominic Dorenberg has got it, but it's in composite colours. I don't know, I was expecting more of a Ferrari red. I'm not really sure. Obviously he's repping his team, so that's fair enough, but I don't know. I was looking forward to seeing this car.
I'm glad people do feel able to go for a different colour than red on this Ferrari, because I have a feeling over the next few months or so, every championship that has GTP in it is going to have a lot of Ferraris, and if they were all red, we'd be in big trouble. So I'm not personally well. I'm glad they feel able to go for not red, which is what Dominic Durnenberger's done here as well. So that is a good thing for us, if not anything else. I think he made its debut, by the way, at Mugello earlier on in the season. Dominic Durnenberger finished 4th in that race, and so I'm not sure if he was the best Ferrari though. I can't quite remember, but either way, I think it made its debut back then. And yeah, I'm very glad it's in the sim. Although not many people have taken it up, only one in this race. Sheldon Rosenbaum has chosen it as well. He's not taken part in the race though. Not sure what about the other guys now. Yeah, sorry, Billy Smith didn't take it on, and neither did Perez. So he was indeed the best finisher at Mugello with 4th place. But yeah, not many Ferraris in the series. Certainly not in this race, although a few people have chosen it.
Yeah, now we're just waiting for the Peugeot 9X8.
Not sure that's going to be coming anytime soon. Sadly,
I know it does look absolutely amazing, doesn't it? And they have got the sort of that new rear wing design on the 9X8 this season, which I don't know if it is this season, to be fair. I didn't follow much of him last season or endurance in general, so I'm going to presume it was this season they stuck it on, because the last time I saw it, it was a very small, sleek looking 9X8. So yeah, but now it's got a wing attached. Come on, can we get the 9X8? We're going to.
Well, I'm not sure it's going to be happening, unfortunately. But
what, the 9X8 coming to iRacing?
Yeah, sadly not.
Right.
But I don't know, really. It's just don't feel like it's going to happen.
Every GT3 car in the world. Why can't we have another GT3? Chuck it in. Well, I'm still waiting for the updated TCRs, but I can't see them happening anytime soon either.
No. You've been saying about TCRs for a while, and they've been the same.
They've been the same for ages, haven't they?
Yeah, they have really. But oh dear, who's that? That's Robert Cast, who's got suspension damage, and it's quite major as well. Look at that. He's going to pull off to the side of the road.
Oh, he's hit the wall.
He's been in the wall at the final corner by the looks of things, and it's not for the first time, unfortunately, for him this evening. Brakes too late, gets up over the curb, and he goes for a spin.
No, he's done that. No, yeah, it was. He's done something else since then.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Where is that? Right.
It's not coming up for us.
No.
Looks like it happened before the final chicane to me, but I don't really see how that would be possible.
Yeah, he's running all right there.
I guess we'll have to just continue watching from here and follow it round just to try and find out. But he certainly had a lot of suspension damage. I can tell you in live pictures he has returned to pit lane, and we're about to see why he had all that damage. So it comes out the final corner. Okay, I guess it's going to be in the final chicane again.
Yeah, it looks like it is. If there's any problems with this, I might have to try and do this a different way to try and figure out what happened to Cass, because it's not showing up that he crashed. So I'm wondering what actually happened. Did he just brake? No, he didn't. All right, I'm going to try this a different way. I do apologise for doing it this way, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be any other way of us actually... There it was.
It was there, yeah. So I'm not sure why that didn't appear as a crash, actually, but that's the kind of thing with technology. Into the final chicane. He bats over the first curve. Oh, the second one, he goes straight on, though, instead. Last time when he did that, he spun round to the inside, and he got away with it. He certainly didn't get away with it that time.
No, crabbing. And unfortunately for Robert Cass, it was straight back to pit lane. Apologies for having to rewind it, but it was the only way I could manage to actually find it. So there we go. But Parker and Cyphers are still very close together. Young Park and Simonek are back together. Simonek has got in front, so that might be Park Rescinder in that position after the incident they had down into the hairpin, of course.
We'll see.
I'm just presuming that's what he might have done.
Yeah, how has Carter Cunningham suddenly got 7 seconds away? This is a very big gap, very suddenly. Can't really give an explanation as to why that's happened there, but anyway, he's up to, well, he's still 4th place, I should say, but more importantly, he's still ahead of Robert Tinsey, who I feel has missed a bit of a trick here. Gundinger had that spin and he was right back in the group, and Tinsley unfortunately has been stuck at the back of the group, not really able to take advantage at all of the error that went on for his championship rival up ahead.
Yeah, I think if he'd been a little bit higher up, he might have been okay, but he hasn't gained or lost anything, and unfortunately he hasn't capitalised on any of the incident that Cunninger's had. So for Tinsley, he's just cleared Andrew Parker. It looked like Parker did move out the way there. But Tinsley, he's just got to try and do what he can, what he can control. I think that's the thing at the moment, is he's got to be able to just try and control what he's got in front of him. But it does look like it's going to be very, very tough indeed for him to be able to catch back up, unless he does something amazing with the fuel strategy. Don't forget LMP2's on 90% fuel, GTP's on 80, and GTD and GTD AM's on 67. So, yeah, I'm not really sure if Tinsley can try something within the pit stop cycle, but we'll have to keep an eye on it.
Robert Cast is still in pit lane, by the way. He said earlier on that he's never run a race at this circuit, and he's still brand new to GTP. So he's not very. He wasn't very hopeful, and now indeed he is out of proceedings, certainly out of a front-running position. Said he didn't expect it to be a good race, and unfortunately he hasn't had a brilliant one for him. As the field really starts to spread out now, we approach halfway in this race, and the scheduled pit stops won't be too far away now, but actually there aren't very many battles where a pit stop could change things at the moment. Young Park is still in behind Simonik, who's now in third place. So effectively, I'm not sure whether Parker's intentionally let Simonik back through again after he hit him at the hairpin all those laps ago. But anyway, either it's naturally reversed itself, or he's let that happen over some time.
I'm thinking he might have let it happen. I don't know. I think Young Park might have turned around and gone, well, actually, I did kind of send you off down into the hairpin, so go back through. That's what I'm presuming. Although Park did look like he carried on, but I'm guessing here, Mr. O'Leary, that he allowed him to go back through.
I'm not sure, to be honest. It normally happens straight away, doesn't it? But I guess didn't want to do it immediately. This is perhaps how it happened. This will give us a bit more of a clue.
Yeah,
pulls over to the left. So has he got to slow down, or is he definitely letting him through? It looks like he's letting him through there. So maybe that is a very, very long sort of giving back of position. But that went on for, he held that position for a good 10 minutes or so before giving it back.
Yeah, he did, and I think maybe it's taken that long for Simonik to catch him up. I don't know, because we did see Young Park carry on, didn't we? Funny enough, Cass is a YouTube chat. Hope my rec looked good on the broadcast. It did once we found it, mate. Yes, we did find it, and you have joined a long list of champions in the wall. So well done, you.
Oh yeah, it depends what he's champion of, really. Is he champion of anything? I don't know.
He's a champion of hitting a GTP into a wall. That not champion enough? He's actually, if you look at it in a bigger picture, he's actually a champion in general. Do you know why he's a champion in general? Because anybody that stepped up from LMP2 to GTP to take on the challenge of the GTP is a champion in my book.
But yeah, fair enough. Even though he's given up a potential championship in LMP2.
It just goes to show that he don't care about championships. It's more important that he becomes out of this the man that he is, taking on the challenge of the GTPs.
Yeah, for the love of the game.
Exactly. Do you know where I got that from, actually? That was out of a film I watched the other day. I don't know, it's talking about champions. The film was actually called Champions, with Woody Harrelson is in it. And it's a really good film. I do recommend anybody go and see it. It's on Netflix. You can go and watch it. Other broadcasting streaming services are available, just to put my disclaimer in there. And he actually turns around and uses that line in there. You are a champion because you deal with this challenge every single day. It's great. It's a really good film. I don't expect you to watch it, Mr. O'Leary. Like you probably still haven't watched, Die Hard or Ghostbusters or anything like that.
No, I haven't watched a single film all year. which is not saying much, but I suppose for some people that's unimaginable. Into the pit lane, just over halfway in through the race, has come some of the LMP2 leaders. Caden Richardson was right behind Kevin Bingley at the time of pitting, and so it's going to be very interesting to see where he comes out. I hope they're not running out of fuel, because that would be quite early. I wouldn't worry about the LMP2 that has just left the pit lane just ahead of them. Derek Cyphers didn't seem to stop in his box there at all, did he? No, he didn't. He just drove straight through the pit lane and then came back out again. So I'm not sure whether he's reached the instant limit already, but he certainly seemed to have a drive-through.
Yeah, it looked like he did there. The interesting thing is Tinsey has now jumped Cunningham. We'll give it a minute to settle down to see what the gap is. Cunningham's gap's round about 30 seconds, give or take.
He's not stopped yet.
Yeah,
Tinsey,
no, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Has
right.
he just managed to pull sort of an overcut on him to be able to go into the pit lane and possibly come out in front of him? Where did Cunningham come out, and who did he come out in? Well, he didn't come out in front of anyone. He has got a nice clean track, and he's got second place of the GTPs ahead of him, which is Nathan Dowd, and he's not nowhere near anybody else. So at the moment, Cunningham can just go full flat and hope to the best. I jumped into the GTP for the team as well as self-growth in an attempt to be I think that's supposed to be more versatile for the entirety of the team. Bit of a learning curve for sure, but it's been fun. See, that makes you a champion. At least you didn't take two people out and ruin their race. Yes, Miguel. You didn't just take any two out, mind you, sir. You took out two championship leaders. So well done. If you're going to do it properly. I don't know. I'm trying to spin a positive, right, on a negative.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I do feel bad for him, because it does look like he feels bad as well. So yeah, not.
I suggest
not great.
Yeah, maybe send some iRacing bucks or something like that. I don't know. Just make up for it somehow. Send them a Christmas card or whatever.
Joshua Wolf, by the way, has just reminded me he's not actually returned to the track, so it is going to be a drop week this week for him. 9th place will be the finish, and that gets you 9 points in this series. So he'll effectively gain 4. Will it? I don't understand how this works. I need to go away and figure this championship out properly.
Yeah, we're well into 3:10 in the morning here, Mr. O'Leary. Us trying to do maths at the best of times is bad enough, but when we're sleep deprived, I don't really feel the need. We'll work it out, and then we'll come back next week strongly. Lol, do it properly. Well, Robert, he kind of did, didn't he? He hit one and then went across the track and hit another one. It was very spectacular if you haven't seen it.
We're just less than 27 minutes to go. The LMP2s have now pretty much run out of fuel, so we're going to have a rejoin here for the lead of the race. Cam Richardson get into the lead ahead of Kevin Bingley here, who is there down on pit lane, just in behind. Oh no, he's not in pit. Oh well, he's carrying on.
He's carried on. Tinsey hasn't carried on. Caden Richardson's just gotten past. I think Cunningham might make it past at the same time. It looking like he is. And Robert Tinsey is still stationary. So Cunningham does make it past Tinsey. Oh, blimey, yeah, Tinsey there as well. Dominic Dorenberg bringing the GTP into pit lane. So the GTP pit lane is starting as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty busy track at the moment. There's cars everywhere. It's not in the sort of groups and clumps like you see earlier on in the race, as Young Park comes into pit lane as well, dropping down outside the top 3 in the Porsche. I suppose I went inside the top 3 anyway, actually. But anyway, looking to try and get that podium place back again, if you like. There's Cunningham just ahead of Tinsey. This is Islam versus Richardson. So actually, Mo Islam's got himself right involved in the battle for the lead here, but Richardson goes straight down the inside. So is that a pass that will be for second place, or will it be for the lead? Because Kevin Bingley's just come in pit lane up ahead.
That was a slowdown for Mo Islam, because Richardson came at him like an absolute banshee in a rapid rate of knots there. So Mo Islam, unfortunately, may have got caught up on a slowdown on that one, because Richardson came at him quick. Bingley still sat there. He's on his way out. Caden Richardson is coming down. Don't forget, for these guys, they've got to run round practically turn 1 and 2, come out on the exit. This is going to be even mighty very close. There is Bingley. There's a GT3 in front. There is Caden Richardson. Wasn't quite as close as we expected, but it's still close enough.
Bryce hasn't been in pit lane yet, by the way, so don't worry about the fact he's still in the lead, but it is pretty close between Richardson and Binkley. It's going to be an interesting end to the race with just less than 25 minutes to go. It's down the inside of one of the Enquiries and begins to try and close in. The sky's got a bit brighter, I can say, throughout the last half an hour, so I think any concerns that I had about rain falling have certainly gone away, and I can believe the graphic on the right hand side now that says there's a 0% chance of rain, and I do now believe it, because there is a bit yeah, you're welcome, a few brighter conditions out there now, so that's good. We haven't seen too many pit stops down in GTD or GTD AM, but effectively so far nothing has changed in GTP even after their pit stops. Papochat is still leading by 7 seconds now.
Yeah, this is the closest battle on track. You see Kudrowski's in pit lane for the GTD AMs. He's got Isering, funny enough, behind him. Ed has carried on and is now going to clear Kudrowski by quite a way. So Ed finds himself back up into second, Miguel. So don't feel too bad, mate. There's still one of the championship leaders running.
There certainly is. In towards turn one between Binkley and Richardson. Oh, he's made a mistake. Oh, Richardson saved that one really from the jaws of defeat. That would have been it as far as the race leading chances for him goes. Just about saved it though. Oh, he's gone. Oh, the leader's gone. And Richardson just gets into the back of him. Moisab goes past both of them. Oh, goodness. Kevin Binkley with an unforced error. Through turn 4, he gets into the wall, and he looks like he's undamaged mostly, but he's cost himself the race lead.
Yeah, bounces over the sausage curb and then spins, hits the wall, comes back. They all do the same. Islam then shuffles round and says, thank you very much, I'll have that. And Mo Islam has now effectively taken the lead in the LMP2. Wesley Bryce still leading, but obviously not pitted yet. Caden Richardson still running with Binkley in behind, and Carter Cunningham is closed up on that gap. He's now brought it down to 3 seconds. Brandon Walker is still running, but he is just about to pass Carter Cunningham. Tinsey, however, between Tinsey and Cunningham is 10 seconds. Not made the most of this race for Robert Tinsey.
No, he really hasn't. I think he'll be very disappointed because he's only got 6 more rounds, including this one, to gain points on Cunningham, and at the moment he just isn't going to be, as things stand. Ed Eisenring, meanwhile, comes in from GTD AM. See how many points he can gain on Joshua Wolf today. He's one of only 4 drivers who have not stopped yet. Antoine Tassas is one of them as well in the lead of the race. Made his debut in season 14 at Mugello just before Christmas. Won that race very comfortably, and at the moment he's been leading this one quite comfortably as well.
Yeah, he's out in front at the moment. He's still an AM, a GTD AM driver, which I'm quite surprised about, considering it does look like he's got the pace to be well up there with the pros. In fact, he's not too far off Ross Booth, who is there, and Dekash right in behind him.
To be fair, Booth is a whole pit stop ahead of him because he's just been in, but even so, yeah, I think he's just about well placed in AM at the moment. He's only beating, I think legitimately, he's only beating maybe Bradley Haley. We'll see after he makes his pit stop here. I mean, that will be a better indication, as now he does come in. But yeah, I think he's just about in the right class at the moment. He's just doing very well. It's always one of these things you get with an AM class, really. If you do too well, people start to not compliment you, but actually say you're in the wrong class, which is a bit unfair, really.
Yeah, maybe he is, and maybe he'll surprise us. You know what I mean? I don't really know what he's going to do to surprise us, to be honest. But we head to Belle Isle next time out, so I'll be very interested to see what goes on there, because these cars at Belle Isle, gonna get spicy.
It's 2 difficult circuits in a row as far as street tracks go and so on. Very difficult indeed. So that's pretty difficult, or pretty awkward, as Dashas now makes his way out of the pit lane. And I believe he is just about high. Oh no, he's just got out ahead of 5th placed Bradley Haley. I didn't realise Giolli hadn't been in yet, but he's been long delayed so far in this race, as has Christopher Pies, who's just made his pit stop as well. So they're actually not only behind SS, but quite a few of the AM field. Closest battles on the circuit, probably in LMP2 again now, though, as Carter Cunningham is really gaining again. Can he possibly get back to Richardson and get back ahead of him here? He'd be very, very pleased if he could. He's got just under 20 minutes to complete what would be a really remarkable recovery.
Yeah, it would. It would, but he's got to go through Binkley first. So for Binkley, he's got to, well, to be honest with you, I can guarantee Tinsley's going to hope he literally defends the life out of this car, to be honest, and he's going to keep Cunningham behind him, because that's what Tinsley could kind of do with. We don't want him too far ahead.
No, as there goes Nathan Dowd, through on the inside, in the only Cadillac in the field. He's nearly 10 seconds behind Pat Pelchat now. He just continues to try and plug away in second place. Dowd will have to pass the rest of the LMP2 field very soon indeed. There's the latter end of the GTD field, and then the LMP2s have actually got a very long period of clean air. You can see Booth going round turn 8 and 9 at the moment, as the back end of GTD AM is halfway down the back straight, so that's a very big gap of no traffic. Just wonder what that's going to do to this race, and whether they'll actually have very much traffic now to negotiate for the rest of the entire race.
They normally start, you normally get it lap after lap after lap, don't you, on some form of it, because of the way it's spread out. But you are right, that gap is pretty huge once they clear Ross Booth, especially for the likes of Mo Islam, Caden Richardson, Kevin Binkley, who has got Cunningham coming in, and there is a back marker in between them. That might save Binkley for a little bit. So yeah, they've got a good half the track before they catch the next one. But I think there's still going to be lapping cars here. Whoa, there was a big puff of smoke going in that corner then.
Look like it.
Then again, we've been caught out before with smoke, haven't we? And it was just dust coming onto the onto the thing.
Difficult to tell these days, as Dunnenberg does get down the inside. Just put some distance between himself and Vavrosky. So will there be enough time yet left for the Cadillac to get through? I said Dad was in the only Cadillac, didn't I? That was a complete lie. Vavrosky is in one as well. He's in 4th place, just 1 second between them over the line.
Yep.
But we'll see. Vavrosky, don't forget, had that spin at turn 1 earlier on, so effectively qualified better and started his race a bit better than Dunnenberg. But since then, has had some catching up to do, as he's just put the corner at turn 4 there. I'd be surprised if, oh no, he seems to have gotten away without a slowdown. So there you go. But yeah, just over a second now for him to try and get back here and try and get past Dominic Dunnenberg.
Yeah, but he's got to try and not. You know what? I think multi-class is probably one of the most scariest areas of motor racing. Car on car, class on class, you know, like MX-5 versus MX-5s or Fiestas versus Fiestas. And then you get GTP, LMP2 and GTD, and you stick them on a racetrack and say, right, go on boys, off you go. But it really is quite heart-wrenching at times when you sit and watch some of this, because you think anything can happen, you know, and they've just got to make sure that they don't end up hitting each other. It's very, very difficult indeed, this multi-class racing.
Certainly is, but that's why we all enjoy it. Even in a sort of sprint racing format like this, you don't see it too often, actually. Just the 1 hour races here in this series. So we've been watching him here, so it's no longer the closest battle on the circuit. Cunningham closing in on Binkley. Just 15 minutes to go for him now. I'm not sure Cunningham is quite catching quickly enough here for him to have a chance at the race win. That really would be a remarkable turnaround in fortune and turnaround in pace as well. But he looks like he might be able to recover a podium, and at the very least just put some more points into Tinsley, who's still in 5th place.
Yeah. Oh, not like that, he's not. Oh, steady. Got to be a little bit more careful on that one for Vavrosky to try and get back onto Durenberg. Cunningham closing in on Binkley. Binkley's getting the draft, obviously, from Richardson just a little bit in front of him. But I think Cunningham's looking quite strong. He looks like he's got the pace here. And I do wonder whether or not Binkley's going to be able to do much to not have him go past when he gets close.
Let's see what happens. Young Park is back on the back of Alex Simonik again. Let's hope those two don't make contact. We saw that earlier on into the hairpin. There they are into the corner after that, the chicane. Oh, he's got a bit... Well, he's got away with it there, Simonik there. He hit the first curve quite hard, but he did get away with it and holds on to a podium. But now, that big load of clean air for the LMP2 seems to have vanished into... Well, I'm not sure where it's vanished to, but at the moment they're sort of back in traffic again. I thought they were going to be getting a decent bit without it, but it seems that that's just not happened.
No, it's weird how it's worked, to be fair. As you say, I don't know how they've quite got to where they got to and how they got there so quickly, but again, you are right, they're back in traffic. You can see third and fourth from GTD AMS not far up the road. They've got a GTD in between them here. First place Mo Islam is just going past one now. So there goes Mo Islam. That was Sherborne. And Caden Richardson coming up on him at the same time. So Sherborne's had a lot of people go past him at the moment. There goes another one. Is Binkley going to be able to get him before he gets into turn one, though? Or is he going to get stuck behind him? And Cunningham's about as close as he can be here.
He's very close indeed. In towards turn one. This is going to be very interesting indeed. Out of turn two, he's on a better line there, Cunningham. He's going to just get a bit closer. Oh, no, actually, he didn't get the power down very well. Binkley gets a bit further away, but now he's going to have to slow down again because there's an Acura in the way. He will get through here on the outside at turn five. The Acura stays out the way, really. Quite nice from him in towards the right-hander. Binkley just runs a little bit wider. Again, Cunningham with a better line, but does he get the power down? That's the big issue. Doesn't seem like he quite has, so... Is this going to be it for Cunningham? I suspect this might be all the positions he can get in the remaining laps, and so he might as well take his time and do it properly, trying to get his podium back again.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get much further up. Caden Richardson isn't a million miles away, so let's put that into perspective. There's Richardson there. Mo Islam's up the road, so unless something dramatic happens to them two, I think you are right. But it's how Binkley goes about this now. He knows that he can defend here, and for Cunningham, he isn't going to have much chance to get through at the World Championships. You don't want to go that too wide. It doesn't work. So they need to make sure that they don't go and do that. But it's now coming out of the run here out the final corner. Binkley's heading to the left-hand side. Needs to be a bit more decisive about whether or not he's going to block. Cunningham doesn't choose to go through anyway. So, saying that, Binkley gets that car up on two wheels and nearly makes a mistake for him.
Yeah, it's easily done. 11.5 minutes to go. And there are a few battles popping up around the circuit now at the very end after a quieter period through the middle of this race. It's might well get loud again towards the end. Down towards turn 6 they go. Cunningham again on the slightly better line. You want to sort of open out that turn 7 for the back straight, but problem sometimes around this circuit is that the straights just aren't really long enough, and the longest straight only goes into a very tight chicane, so it can be a little bit difficult to overtake. But Cunningham has got to try and find his way through at some point, somehow, in these next 10 minutes.
Yeah, and they've got GTPs closing in on them as well. There is the GTPs. Shouldn't really affect them. The only thing that will affect them is if what's going to happen is going to happen here. Is Binkley going to catch that GT3 before the GTP gets alongside? He doesn't. He now slots in. That might help Binkley now, because Cunningham's going to get caught in the GTP and the GT3. And I can tell you what, Binkley got away with one there. He's now got to get on your bike, son. You've been given an opportunity, and he's caught him up behind them two cars. He's now just got to go 3 wide with all 3 classes on track at the same time. That's a nice picture moment if I've ever seen one. And Cunningham didn't clear the Porsche. So Binkley could be a little bit fortunate here, because Cunningham did not clear that Porsche.
Yeah, and he took a very wide line at turn 2 as well. He's going to dive. He's going to get through as well, but that is not a great sequence for Carter Cunningham. Morristone's been caught by Caden Richardson for the lead of this class, as Eisenring also catching Dale Green for third place in GTD AM. There are a few more battles yet to go, and as far as the championship goes, I think the one for third in GTD AM that they've just passed is perhaps the most important. Ed Eisenring looking for a podium, as Josh Wolf is going to be taking a drop week here after finishing down in 9th. It's his second worst finish of the season, and so this is going to be a drop week for him eventually when we add that second one, I believe, at the end of the next round. So we'll watch out for that. But this is important for Eisenring to try and get back on the podium again.
Yep, he has, but they both got caught up in that LMP2 GTP scenario that was happening on the last lap, of course. So for Ed, he's got to try and close back into Dale and make that move. Dale, again, can make it really difficult, or he could be really nice about it. It really depends on how Mr. Green wants to play this, to be blatantly honest with you. I'm not quite sure I'd be nice battling for position, though, to be fair.
We'll see how this goes for these two. So far, it's been a little bit difficult to overtake in these last few moments for what we've seen in traffic. Where are the next prototypes that could force an opening? Well, the 5th and 6th placed LMP2s of Tinsey and Parker will be coming through, as well as then the leaders in GTP as well. Pat Pelchat will be lapping these guys at least once, well, no, only just once more before the end of the race, because there's not very long left. So will any of those provide a chance here for Ed Eisenring, who does look quicker, and probably is quicker, to be honest. Of course, he's only been delayed by his incident earlier on. This is now going to be a chance for him, because Green's gone wide through turn 7, and now he's almost leaving the door open on the inside towards turn 8 here. Is he almost willing Ed Eisenring to go through down the inside? Not quite. He brakes late enough, although he goes quite deep, and Ed Eisenring is going to try and get the exit again here. This is slightly odd defending from Green, but he's having it work for the moment. Now in towards the hairpin, though. He is going to make his way through, surely. Down on the brakes. And Ed Eisenring does get through into third place.
I'm not sure where that defending, you know, when you said about it's very odd defending, I'm not quite sure what I'm not sure about that, because that was quite weird. Because you should have taken the inside line down into the hairpin. You shouldn't have just left the door wide open. And I think the makeup of the events before just happened purely by chance. The fact that he was a little bit offline going into the corners. That's why Eisenring didn't clear him earlier. I think Green didn't really put up a fight, should we say, to stop that from happening there as well. But Cunningham's got back onto the back of Binkley again as we're coming into the final 6 minutes, and Vavrovsky has caught up to Dorenberg, so we'll keep an eye on that at the same time.
Battles for the podium in all 4 classes at the moment, and Cunningham has a look, but not quite, down the inside on this occasion. Through turn 9 they go, and now down towards the hairpin where we saw that move for Eisenring. There's the defence from Binkley. He brakes early enough as well to make the corner. There's always a risk when you take a different line that you brake too late. He's going to be very close to the wall there, though. And Cunningham is going to be gaining on the straight now. He's got a better exit. He's going to be right in the slipstream. And surely down the inside, is Binkley going to defend? Well, there's no need, really. You can either get through or you can't, and Cunningham still couldn't quite do it there.
No, not got the pace. He's got to look for the run out the wall at the final corner down into 1. Be interesting to see how Binkley plays this now. He could go all the way to the left here, defend that inside line, or he just knows that Cunningham's not going to close enough to make the move, and it didn't look like he's close enough. The problem was there's another GTD up the road. However, Binkley did not get a good run out of turn 2. Is Cunningham going to look at making a move into 3? Nope, not doing it there. I would not recommend doing it in any of this next complex before you get back down to the start-finish straight again.
Simonic's got through on Park here by the looks of things, as Cunningham tries to get through on Binkley, who might have gone a bit deep there, and now Cunningham's got him offline. He might well have a chance. Out of turn at 7 he goes, and he's already alongside, already going to be getting through in towards turn 8 by the looks of things, although Binkley's not too far away. He's going to brake early, try and go for the cut back here. And now maybe get alongside for the hairpin. Cunningham's going to be under pressure again. He goes on the defensive and he's going to try and almost stepping him toward Porsche GT3. That makes Binkley just break a little bit earlier, but Cunningham didn't quite have the ability to go down the inside there either. He was too far back. Oh dear, very close. Binkley there nearly got into the back of him. Now he needs the slingshot and he's not quite going to get it. He fought back going down the inside of the Porsche, couldn't quite do it. Now Cunningham pulls out of the way, tries to break the slipstream, and look at that. Excellently done. He's broken the slipstream very well. And Carter Cunningham's hung on to third place.
Yeah. Both men sliding coming out of there then as well, and nearly hit the wall. But that was well played by Carter. Very well played indeed. I didn't know how that was quite going to work out, where they were weaving in and around that Porsche, but he played that like a absolute treat on that one.
He certainly did. It was a very good bit of driving indeed on Carter Cunningham, who is now in third place with just under 4 minutes to go. Pat Belsat's not long been over the line, so it should be 3 laps to go. Well, that's going to be quite close. Very close indeed, as Brandon Walker has to come in for a second time. His pit stop was made just a little bit too early by the looks of things, and that's not unexpected. Here is Brandon Walker. Oh, or has he made another error?
Same corner.
Is this not what happened earlier?
No.
I thought we were seeing a replay again, but no, he's just done a similar thing again.
Yep, same corner. Dominic Zioli also had a moment there as well. Over the bumps, round he goes, and he pulls in and says enough is enough on that one for Dominic Zioli. Shane Hunter has this. Oh no, he's back. So maybe that's why it picked up that he had an incident for Shane Hunter. No, he just pulls over as well. So not entirely sure what all of a sudden. I don't know. They've just all pulled over. And Brandon Walker looks like he's had another moment. Coming out pit lane. Did he have something go on? Does he crash coming out pit lane? I don't know if that's him. No, he's slowing down. Yeah, that's why he's picked it up. But yeah, not a good race for Brandon Walker.
Well, he knows now that he'll be finishing in 5th place, even with just over 2 minutes to go. He pretty much knows where he will be finishing, so that will be that for him. Another top 5, I suppose. But this is Young Park, meanwhile, on the back of Alex Simonik. Maybe the last remaining battle, because it looks like Moisam is just about going to have the legs to hold on from Richardson. In fact, that is those two behind there, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So this could be quite important to the story. Does Islam get through on the two of them, or does he have to stay behind and make for a very nervous end to the race? He is not going to get through on them, and Richardson is going to close right in here. He's going to be really quick through the chicane as well. Islam could be even in trouble as early as turn 1 here if he's not too careful. No, he's going to survive this time, and he knows he has to get through on both here, Richardson, and he will do in towards turn 1. We do have a battle on for the race lead.
Yeah, we do now. Mo Islam, Caden Richardson fighting out for LMP2. Palshat's coming over the line, starting that final lap of the race here for Pat Palshat. However, I will say it was very, very close on time, so it will be whether or not Barney is actually waving. I might have a look with Dowd here just to see if he is. Keep an eye on the right-hand side. No, it doesn't look like he is.
Look like it.
It's gotta be, isn't it? I think he was he was very, very close though, mind you. If we can spot that Barney waving the flag out the window and a very shaky. No, looks like Barney's gone on holiday.
Well, maybe. Can't see him anywhere.
No.
So either way, for Islam, it is going to be 2 laps to go, whether it's the final lap for Palshat or not, because he's just about ahead. Look at Palshat there, back in the traffic. Cunningham versus Binkley going on again there as they fight for the final podium place further behind. That is Palshat right in, excuse me, it's not Palshat right in behind them. He's a little bit further behind there. He is just in behind those two in LMP2, and he might well just leave them to battle again for the race lead. 5 seconds to go into the final chicane. It is going to be time elapsing, and the checker flag is going to wave as well. Pat Pelchat is going to win again in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge here in GTP. Expertly done. He just gets ahead of Young Park, but not of Simonek. That is a real shame for Young Park.
Yeah, he just got Park at the line. Park is done now because he's finished. Simonek stayed just in front. That is, poor old Park. That has got to be the most guttering thing he's probably ever seen before, because he's just now cannot chase Simonek unless he doesn't actually realise he's not finished here. Tinsey was another one that also got lapped and has finished. Andrew Parker at the same time. Dekash has won GT3 AM, so well done to Antoine Dekash. They've already gone over the line. Ross Booth is on his way up that back straight. He will take the win as well. But yeah, for poor old Young Park, gutted.
And it was disappointing.
It was by like 10 metres. It wasn't long.
He might be carrying on just to see what would have happened anyway, and might find out that he might not have passed him. But there's no harm in just seeing what would have happened anyway, I suppose. As Ross Booth just crossed the line and flashes his lights, and it's a familiar story for the GTD Championship leader. He has won again, although for the first time since round 5, he's been 3 rounds without a win now after winning the first 5 in a row. Maybe this can put him back on track again as Mo Islam wins in LMP2 as well. A fantastic result for him as he takes his first race victory of the season to go along with 3 third-place finishes through the middle part of that opening 7 races. He's now a race winner in season 14. So there you have it, round 9 of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge, complete hit from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve as our street circuit doubleheader begins in Canada. It is Pat Pelchat who wins in the GTP, and overall had Nathan Dowd and Dominic Dernenberg, with Terry Favrovsky not quite able to get through on the Ferrari in the end. Morrison wins in LMP2 for the first time this season with Caden Richardson not quite able to get there. Brandon Walker was just in the mix there with Carter Cunningham on the podium. Now Kevin Binkley, then Robert Tinsey, who lost a bit of ground in the championship again today ahead of Andrew Parker and Wesley Bryce. Then it's Ross Booth who's winning GTD, and Nicholas Davis and Alex Simonek joining on the podium. Young Park didn't get that chance to get on the podium at the end, unfortunately. He finished ahead of Bradley Haley, though, with Antoine Dachas in the lead and the win of GTD AM. Chris Pies was next, actually, and he's a pro, so he was a bit in the way. But Mark Kodrowski, a little bit further behind, was second, ahead of Ed Eisenring, who got onto the podium in the end. Dale Green and Chris Serber round out the top 5, with Tom Hammond, Shane Hunter next. A couple of laps further behind, Dominic Zioli, who was a little bit delayed in that race. Derek Cyphers, another 4 laps behind. Robert Cass, Rico de Souza, Joshua Wolf, and Sheldon Rosenbaum finish the race. Let's have another chat then to Pat Pelchat, shall we? Oh, he's not there yet. That's very rare. So we'll go from, shall we go from slowest class to fastest this time around, just to shake things up. Antoine Dachas, first of all, from GTD AM. Welcome, Antoine. Good to have you with us. Congratulations on the win. How was the race out there tonight at Montreal?
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great race. It's a tricky track because of the slowdowns, but I think it was a great race overall.
You've now had 2 appearances this season in the GTD field, and you've managed to win them both. Have you been surprised maybe with your speed so far this season?
Yeah, I am actually. It's a pretty serious group of guys. I know them, from outside, and so I'm kind of surprised at the results. I honestly think I've just gotten lucky. This race, particularly at the beginning, I was able to put a couple of cars who got slowdowns between me and the rest of the AM group, and then I just turned laps. So I got a bit lucky with that, and I just able to pull a gap that way.
Maybe not giving yourself enough credit to be able to say you've been getting lucky. It's certainly been very, very quick speed from you indeed. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. The whole composite crew, honestly, they're the greatest group of guys. Cast, Young, Ross, Dom, Miggy. Yeah, everyone's just awesome.
Congratulations on the win, Antoine, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. That was Antoine Desas there in the win of the GTD Anfield. As I say, Papaucha is there now, but we'll go up the classes this time round rather than down, just to shake things up. Ross Booth is the winner in GTD again. Congratulations, Ross, on the victory. I mean, after having a season... start of the season, I should say, like you did, winning the first 5 races in a row. Have you been getting a little bit concerned in these last 3 rounds that you've not been able to take a race win and only have 1 podium?
Yeah, the last 2 or 3 races have not gone well for different reasons in all of them, but so just happy to have a good, clean race, and it ended up in P1 today.
Yeah, not only a clean race, but a pretty convincing and decisive win as well. You've extended your lead over Nicholas Davis in the championship. Are you still feeling comfortable about that margin now, which will be around 30 points after this round?
Yeah, I think that's about almost a race in hand, which makes me feel good, but there's still a long ways to go. Anything can happen. Obviously, those couple weeks we were just talking about could happen again. So just one race at a time.
Absolutely. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just big shout out to Composite Performance. We had a great weekend at Daytona 24. Just shout out P1 Docs for giving us some really fast setups all the time. Tam Liveries for making our cars look like the best cars on track. And shout out to Carter. He's always doing a great job running the Autobahn Sportscar series. So, and shout out to you guys too. I always enjoy watching the broadcasts later.
Well, thanks very much. Hope you enjoy watching yourself take the victory here at Montreal this time round. Congratulations on that, and thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Ross Booth there, the winner in GTD. Mo Simon has taken victory in LMP2 for the first time this season. Congratulations, Mo. Good to have you with us as well. You were being chased and hounded by Caden Richardson right at the very end. How were those final few laps?
Oh, that was a great race, and Caden's amazing teammate and driver. So it was really fun battling him. I think I had a little bit better tires at the end and was able to eke it out there.
We haven't had a chance to speak to you so far this season, but you've been a constant figure towards the front. That's, I think, your 4th podium of the season, if I'm counting right. I think so, or maybe 3rd. I can't quite count right. But have you found the season so far, season 14?
Autobahn's always great, and this season has been really good. It's a little tricky with the new tires and the LMP2, but starting to get the hang of it again.
Well, yeah, there might be one more getting used to the tyres again. Of course, the new season's going to be about halfway through this part of the end of the season as well. So we'll see how that goes as well. But is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, of course. My team, Composite Performance, and our sponsors, P1 Docs and Grid by SimLabs. And yeah, just we have a good group of guys here, and we just love racing together. So a lot of practice and together. So it's great.
Absolutely. Congratulations on the win, and thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you.
Morrison there, the winner in LMP2 here tonight. Pat Posher has won overall, and we've made him wait this time round. But welcome, Pat. Good to have you with us again. A pretty comfortable win for you ahead of Nathan Dowd again here in this round of the championship. How did you find the race?
It was okay. To be honest, with the Daytona 24 this weekend, didn't practice much. Kind of built a setup in the hour before the race and kind of went with it. Kind of glad actually because the last 2 league race in the last year that I've done in Montreal, something happened, a crash or twice I think was a crash. So first win of Montreal in the league race, I'll take it. Home race.
Absolutely. It's great to see, and a hat trick as well of victories for you for the first time this season, 3 in a row as well. How does that make you feel about the remaining 5 rounds of this championship?
Looking forward to them. I think I'm looking forward to complete this championship. It's on my sim racing list since for a couple of years now, so I never had the chance to participate. So looking to close this up and just get this done, and yeah.
Well, absolutely. Congratulations on the win, Pat, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Well, thank you guys.
Thanks very much. That's Pat Pelchat there, the winner of tonight's race. And finally, Mark Kudrowski, who often comes for a chat with us. Second place, Mark, here today. And how did you find the race?
Second place, baby, yeah! It was a hectic race, and I qualified, down near the bottom, so it's a race of attrition. And shout out to Ross, by the way, who was 2 seconds faster than me average. It's unbelievable how he does it. But yeah, it's just I made contact with the wall at champion, so but my steering was messed up, but about the same speed, so not deficient in that area.
I'm sure that you weren't the only one to have grazed the wall, that's for sure. But what did you feel about this part of the season when you saw it coming up? Because we're not long out of the Christmas break. We're just not long into the second half of the season, and we've got Montreal and Belle Isle back to back this season. How did you feel about that going into this part of the season?
Well, I had a penalty for from the last session for Joshua Wolf. On the first lap, I got him at the bottom of the hill. It was, it would have meant a warning, but I got a warning, last time. And so, I had 5 minutes less of qualifying, and then, but, I, recovered from that. Yeah. And then, it's just, Belle Isle is a interesting, wicket, but, I think I'm at third now, or close to it. Dale Green finished below me, and Ed, finished behind me as well. He had some problems. So, yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the season. I think we're 2/3 the way through it. So, yeah, go team.
I can't quite do the maths on where you might be at the moment, but I think you might be right. I think you might be right. You might be third now after this race. So congratulations on that. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
No, just Ross and Young. They've coached me a little bit, and I'm hanging out with the composite racing team. So want to thank them for the community.
Absolutely. Congratulations on second tonight, Mark, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
See ya.
Thanks very much, Mark Kudrowski there, second place in GTD. Often comes in for a chat at the end of these races. Well, just 5 rounds to go now in this championship. It's been a decent round here at Montreal. I'd just say it went a bit quiet in the middle, but got loud again towards the end, and some close finishes as well, especially in LMP2. But familiar stories in some of the classes. Pat Pelchat winning 3 in a row now in GTP. Ross Booth back to winning ways as well in GTD. So some familiar stories and some good new ones as well, with the likes of Mo Sam taking his first win of the season.
Yeah, great job from Mo there. He was under pressure for a lot of that race as well, and I think he did really good. Ross Booth getting back to winning ways. DeCash coming in now too for him. Ed Eisenring ahead of Wolf, but of course we saw what happened to Wolf there, unfortunately. And Pelchat just being Pat Pelchat, going away and running away with it.
Yep, he was pretty dominant really in the race here today. See if that remains the same next time out. Join us again in 2 weeks' time when we'll be going racing from the streets of Detroit and the Belle Isle circuit. It's a real difficult part of the season, so make sure you join us for that. 60 minutes once again on the 3rd of February, live about 9:30 Eastern time, just before. I've been Ewan alongside James Parfitt until we see you in a couple of weeks' time for that race at Belle Isle in exactly 2 weeks' time. It's goodbye for now.